Yes, let's recapitulate together. We move step by step and I receive your feedback, okay? So if we talk about the definition of phonetics, what can we say? The branch of what? Of linguistics, yes, that studies material aspects of speech sounds. This is at first. Those material aspects include what and what? And perception. Good. And then we added those individuals interested to study the speech sounds at this level, they are known as phoneticians. This is at first step. Second point we dealt with was about vowels and consonants. Before we make the difference between these two categories, we have said that the production of speech sounds is thanks to the organs of speech. Good. So here we have said that thanks to the power we have from our lungs, our lips, mouth, nose, and so on, all those organs of speech, we are able to produce a variety of sounds. Those speech sounds are classified into two categories, vowels, consonants. The only difference between the two categories is in the passage, the main one, okay, is in the passage of the air, the flow of air, okay, with vowels. It's a free, no stops, no pauses, but with consonants, we stop, there are stops or sub-obstacles, we stop at certain point to produce different sounds. This is about consonants and vowels. Then we move to speak about those symbols we use phonetically to transcribe the variety of speech sounds we produce, and we have indicated two key concepts, the modern alphabet and the International Phonetic Association. We have said that the modern alphabet it's not the one which is invented. It exists. The modern alphabet is the one that we use to transcribe sounds, phonetically speaking. But once researchers means they have observed that this modern alphabet that is created at first is unable, doesn't suffice to transcribe all sounds on one-to-one basis. Simply, we have mentioned examples of sounds that they did not exist. It means the realization is composed of two different letters, so that to be able to produce certain sounds like the th, the, and we have mentioned the example of the schwa. So the International Phonetic Association looks for a solution. Since we can't represent or transcribe sounds on one-to-one basis, because we have different realizations, so they invent another alphabet. And we have stated the example of the k sound that is realized in spelling through three different forms, either the C alone, or the CH, the CK, or the K. So 4 different realizations of the same speech sound. So here we need the help of another kind of alphabet so that we will be able to transcribe all those speech sounds. This is about the production and how the modern alphabet failed to transcribe all sounds on one-to-one basis. Then we've moved to the 3 types or branches of phonetics. The first one, Ayman? Yes, articulatory phonetics deals with what? How we produce, or people here are interested to know the place of articulation of different speech sounds. We have the location and the manner. Then we have another branch which is acoustic phonetics. At this level, the mission of phoneticians is to do what? Measurement. Good. They tend or they attempt to measure the length, the frequency, the pitch, every single detail about the speech sounds. And at this level, we have mentioned the example of your tone and intonation and pitch, which shifts from one type to another, depending on your state of mind or depending on your mood. Once you are okay, you feel at ease, and so on and so forth, you will speak at ease and your tone is normal, no high, no rise in voice, nothing. Even the pitch, everything is at normal, average type. But once you're angry or stressed, under pressure, hungry maybe, as I am, yeah, you may speak in a different tone. The same thing we have said that your speech sounds are affected even as we have talked about this. One of the factors affecting language use is whom you are addressing, to whom you are speaking. If you are speaking to a friend, it's something. If you are speaking to your parents, it's something. If you are speaking to a closest relative, it's something. If you are speaking to your neighbor, it's something else. If you are speaking to your teacher, it's something. If your teacher is speaking to his responsible, is something else, okay? Now people studying acoustic phonetics, they look for those details. Not for the sake they have free time, they would like to measure the length and so on. No, because these parts convey certain message. Once they understand those details, they can classify what people said and how people may differentiate between this and that. Once it comes to auditory phonetics, which is the branch of phonetics at which level phoneticians speak about the perception of speech sounds at the level of the brain, the sound is already produced and already received by the air. Now the brain starts its work to decode. If it succeeds to decode the right message from the right beginning, it's okay, because the message was clearly transmitted. If there is something wrong with the message, if there is something missing, as the case we have said with phrases and so on and so forth, or you catch one word, now the brain needs more time and energy to guess, because now you start wondering whether what you've heard means this, or that. And no one can say that what you are guessing is right unless you address another question to your sender so that you stop wondering and you get the right message. If the sender of the message is not in front of you, you have no chance, no opportunity to ask the question. Of course, you keep going, wondering and so on, till you reach the closest option that may work with what you've heard. This is, I have said and I repeat, with normal people. People with no handicaps anywhere. But with people who may suffer from serious problems at the level of their organs of speech or whatever, here, those people, once they study those details, they may classify people. Those who are able to differentiate between sounds, who are able to produce every speech sounds in its appropriate way, and who are not. And the example stated is with small kids. Once they start speaking, of course they fail, some of them, not all, to produce the sounds appropriately as they should do, but they correct themselves through time. But some other cases, they keep doing things wrong till they reach adult age, because simply they suffer from a serious problem at the level of their organs of all what we have seen in phonetics deals typically with what's concrete, okay? Deals with speech sounds once they are uttered, once they are produced in a spoken or verbal communication, okay? But phonology, next time, on the other hand, deals with the sound system of language as an abstract system, at the abstract level, not in its realization. Phonetics and phonology, simply they are grouped together or combined together because the interest of both is the study of sounds. How each one studies sounds, this is the difference.